And then later, he has negative experiences with his mother. She hooks up with a man named Henry Upshaw.
Successful man, loved her to death, loved her and loved her son. It's the only man in Iceberg's life that he talks about, identifies with, and talks about in not only a respectful way, but someone who really touched his heart and soul because he really cared about him as a human being.
With Henry Upshaw, things were idyllic until his mother met a con man named Steve.
He was one of Mary's customers in her beauty shop. He was a real slick hustler, and he essentially hustled her and convinced her to leave with him to Chicago.
His mother falls for the con on Henry Upshaw and fucks up everything. Fucks up everything. Fucks up all the stability. Fucks up his one shot. Really, it's the only shot he's got.
What's so upsetting to Iceberg is not just that his mom has ripped him away from a mooring, from a foundation that is found, but the way she does it.
I can never forget that morning when Mama had finished packing our clothes and Henry lost his inner fight for his pride and dignity. He fell down on his knees and bawled like a scalded child, pleading with Mama not to leave him. I will never forget her face, as cold as an executioner's, which she was, as she kicked and struggled loose from him. Then, with an awful grin on her face, she lied and said, "Henry, honey, I just want to get away for a while. Darling, we'll be back."
To see his mother betray the only man he ever loved, he learned that there's one thing I'm not going to be, is those guys. I'm going to get her before she gets me, because I know she's going to betray me.
She then conspires with Steve to take off her ex-husband's loot.
From that, he lost all respect for women, in a sense. It's like, even you fell for this shit? In a sense, she created the pimp.
When the money runs out, and she's essentially outlived her usefulness, Steve starts to show his true colors when he starts kicking her ass. And Steve is like one of the cruelest motherfuckers I've ever seen in a book. Like, he murders his kitten, right in front of him. Like, who does that?
Steve had stomped on 3.5 years of our lives. I would soon be 14. On August 4th, my birthday, Mama came home from the hospital with her broken jaw wired and her body covered with bruises. Steve attacked her with his fists and feet and then escaped through the grimy catacombs of the ghetto.
And she was alone in the streets, trying to find work,